If you've got a black and white woodpecker at your feeder, there are three usual suspects. And once you learn one trick, you never mix them up again. Meet the downy woodpecker, the tiny friendly regular. Here's your first clue. Downy is small, about 6.5 inches long, barely bigger than a sparrow. Now for the light bulb moment, look at the beak. On a downy, the bill looks short for the bird, shorter than the head. Downy often shows black spots on the outer tail feathers, best seen from below. This is the one that tricks everyone, the hairy woodpecker. It looks almost identical until you check the beak. Hairy is the bigger, more chisel-faced twin, about 9.25 inches long, around robin-sized. And the beak is the giveaway. On a hairy, the bill is about as long as the head. One more helpful clue. Hairy often has clean white outer tail feathers, while downy tends to look spotted back there. Note, some western hairy populations can show some barring. Now the third visitor, the red-bellied woodpecker. And yes, the name is confusing. Red-bellieds are pale-faced with a bold black and white zebra's back and a bright red cap. They're about 9.4 inches long, similar in length to a hairy but with a totally different pattern. And here's why it's called red-bellied. There's usually just a faint reddish wash on the belly, and it's often hidden by feathers. So you don't notice it unless the bird twists just right. Not named for a redhead. That's a different bird, the red-headed woodpecker. Recap time. Downy small with the short beak. Hairy look-alike with the long beak. Red-bellied zebra back, red cap, and a belly blush you barely see. Want the one thing that turns your yard into a woodpecker hotspot? It's not seed. It's fat, specifically suet. Suet is rendered animal fat. Most store-bought suet is rendered beef fat, formed into a cake so it's safe and easy to feed. Think of it as an energy bar for birds. Woodpeckers are built for action: climbing, drumming, drilling. That takes fuel. Fat packs more calories per bite than most seeds, so it's a fast, efficient energy source. And in cold weather, calories aren't just extra, they're heat. Birds burn energy constantly to stay warm, and suet helps them top off the tank. Now, woodpeckers don't depend on people to exist. Nature feeds them fine. But in winter storms, deep cold, or when food gets buried, a sweet feeder can be a real lifeline. In winter, insects are scarce and days are short. Sweet becomes high-energy survival food. Quick calories when the bird has to spend all day staying warm. First up, hot pepper sweet. This is the squirrel deterrent. Here's the trick. Birds don't feel capsaicin heat the way mammals do, so woodpeckers keep eating, while squirrels usually back off. Next, insect suet. It adds extra protein, great during nesting season and for growing young. And for New York summers, no melt. Regular suet can soften, get messy, and spoil faster in heat. No melt formulas are made to hold shade better when temperatures climb. Still, put it in shade and keep it fresh. Quick tip, those textures aren't just looks. They affect how quickly birds can peck out calories. If you want woodpeckers all winter, suet is the cheat code. Put out a cake, keep it clean, and watch who shows up. Woodpeckers don't feed like finches. If you set up the feeder the way their body is built to eat, you'll get more visits and less chaos. Here's the secret tool most people don't notice: the tail. Woodpeckers have extra stiff tail feathers that act like a brace, almost like a kickstand, so the bird can stay stable while it pecks and feeds. That's why tail prop suet feeders work so well. They let the bird feed in a more natural, vertical posture, feet gripping, tail braced. Quick buyer's tip: bigger woodpeckers prefer more real estate. If the board is too short, they can't brace as comfortably. For downy, almost any tail prop works. For hairy and red-bellied, look for a longer board so they can lean back and lock in. Next trick, the upside-down suet feeder. Woodpeckers are natural clingers. They can feed from below without a problem. This doesn't create a force field. Starlings can be stubborn, but it usually makes it harder for them to settle in and camp out, which gives your woodpeckers a chance. Mount tail prop feeders where the bird can brace. Choose a longer prop if you want bigger woodpeckers. Use upside down when starlings are taking over. Woodpeckers are built like little climbing tools. Give them a feeder that matches their design, and they'll reward you with front row views. Okay, let's talk about the backyard drama we all share, squirrels versus feeders. If you've ever muttered, "Really?" at a squirrel, welcome to the club. This is a friendly rivalry, and today we're going to give the birds a fair shot. First, placement. A popular guideline is the 5-7-9 rule. 5 feet up from the ground, 7 feet across from jump-off points, trees, fences, deck rails, and 9 feet down from anything above they could drop from. Is it perfect? No. Some squirrels are basically tiny Olympians, but it dramatically improves your odds by creating that dead zones where they can't launch. Now the hardware that actually changes the game, a baffle on a smooth metal pole, either a stovepipe, big cylinder, or a torpedo style. I'm going to be honest, this is the most reliable setup people use. When it's installed correctly and the pole is placed away from launch points, it can make it virtually impossible for squirrels to climb up to the feeders. Think of it like putting a banana peel on the villain's ladder. They try and just can't get traction. Next, hot pepper. This works because birds are largely indifferent to capsaicin, while mammals like squirrels really don't enjoy it. Birds keep eating normally. Squirrels usually decide they've got better plans. If squirrels are driving you nuts, you're not alone, especially if you've been feeding birds for years. The goal isn't to defeat wildlife. It's to rebalance the buffet so your birds get their share. Recap. Use the 5-7-9 dead zone for placement. Add a stovepipe torpedo baffle on a smooth metal pole for the most reliable protection, and use hot pepper as your squirrel deterring bonus. All right, if you've made it this far, you're officially in Woodpecker Pro territory. Here are 2 extras that can take your setup from nice to wow. This is a classic, the peanut log. You drill a few holes into an old log and fill them with a thick, sticky energy food like peanut butter or a peanut butter and suet mix. And yes, peanut butter can be safe for birds, especially in cold or cool weather when it stays firm. The big rule is freshness. In warm weather, it can soften and go rancid, so don't leave it out long. Woodpeckers love working a log because it feels natural. Cling, brace, peck, repeat. Food gets all the attention, but winter has a second bottleneck, water. When everything freezes, open water can be hard to find. A heated bird bath is one of the best upgrades you can make. Cornell Lab even recommends adding a heated bath or aerator to keep ice from forming. Keep it shallow. Give birds a grippy landing spot like stones, and change the water regularly. If it's bitter cold, follow your heater's guidance and keep an eye out for splashing. Wet feathers can be risky in extreme temps. Try one pro thing this week. Make a peanut log or add winter water. Then come back and tell me, which woodpecker is your favorite visitor? Downy, hairy, or red-bellied? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. Which woodpecker is your favorite? Subscribe. Subscribe, share with a fellow bird feeder friend.